SMT Nation, we're going to take a deep dive into the potential networking performance of T-Mobile as we look forward to the Samsung Galaxy S23. More specifically, it's the modem that's going to be in the S23, and that's predicted to be the Qualcomm X70 modem. I know RFK Tech USA did a live stream discussing this, and there's a lot of really cool features that are probably going to really boost mobile use cases as well as home internet options with this type of new technology implementation. So let's take a deep dive into it. This article is from Sasha Segan of PCMag.com, and you guys can check out this article. I'll put a link in the description for it. All right, so one of the things I want to mention here is that T-Mobile's potential for networking, speed, and capacity and innovation, the potential is really high. They have a lot of different types of spectrum that, if they aggregate it or combine them together, can make it really dynamic and offer incredible capacity and flexibility. And then when we get to standalone 5G with things like network slicing and modifications of use cases, they do have a lot of great things that could be potentially in place in the next year or so. So, in terms of this particular modem, what Qualcomm has been able to display and what it can do is, with T-Mobile's use case, three channels of 5G. And this would be 190 megahertz of N41. That's their 2.5 gigahertz that they got from the Sprint merger. I don't know what it means for you in your particular area. For example, every market is different. T-Mobile has different amounts or bandwidth of this band. So, some people may get the 190 megahertz available to them. I know in my market, I think they have 160 or 140 megahertz. There are other licenses that they don't have that they're hoping to possibly lease or acquire in the next spectrum auction. So this kind of depends. And then, along with this potential of 190 megahertz of N41, 100 megahertz of N77, which is C band, could push 6 gigabits per second, which is great. I'm a big proponent of mass scaling midband. I think, personally, midband should be available to every single pop in the country. Points of presence, right? It should be completely national. I don't care if it's rural, suburban, or urban. That should be completely blanketing the country, and it should be within the next couple of years. It shouldn't have to wait. And here's what they can do with that. Now, in terms of what T-Mobile has for spectrum, remember, it kind of depends on location. They don't have 100 megahertz of N77 currently. Some markets have 40, some markets have 50 or 60 of N77. So getting to 6 gigabits per second, unrealistic, and maybe 4 gigabits per second might be more realistic here, as Mr. Segan is saying. But the issue here for them is twofold. Are they going to actually densify to properly do this on a scale that's going to be far reaching? And the other piece to this is, we're assuming that the backhaul or the fiber that's run to the tower sites, T-Mobile's going to be willing to pay an upgrade for the fiber. They don't own their own fiber, right? So they have to pay for it on a monthly basis with these different agreements with these fiber providers that run these circuits, high capacity circuits to these sites. So they're going to have to upgrade the backhaul to get to 4 gigabits per second. You're going to need much higher capacity circuits of backhaul. So you're talking you're probably going to need 10 gig backhaul to go to these sites, which is much more expensive than a current 1 gig or less backhaul. So the modems can do it. Like, here we are looking at the technical specs here for the the Qualcomm made X70 modem, the N41, the N77, right, showing that combination. It would be 290 megahertz of bandwidth, achieving potentially, theoretically, 6 gigabits per second, which is incredible. Now, for the mobile use case, I think it's important to note, does anybody need a sustainable 6 gigabit per second connection? Absolutely not. But in spurts, would you need it? Of course. I could see someone at an airport who's about to get on a plane ride, which essentially could be a couple of hours going countryside to countryside. They would want to download that movie really quickly before they boarded. You could potentially do it, understanding that you have other users on the network, but you could get something that could allow you to do it in just like a minute or something like that, which would be hugely clutch to download one, two, or maybe three movies, get it on board onto your device, and then watch those on your flight. So, and that's the way I've always looked at the mobile use case. I have not looked at the mobile use case how we treat home internet. The mobile use case is you're going to need short bursts of speed that are really fast and capacitive to get that task completed, and everybody would like to be able to do that. And that's kind of how I see this type of application of these speeds. But that's how it would work. Here's the N41 capacity, 2.1 gigs. Here's the N77 capacity, 1.8 gigs. Um, or how it's aggregated here with these 3 channels of 5G, showing all that. That's pretty incredible. And then I won't dive into this right now. I could do this in a separate video using Wi-Fi to boost the 5G, aggregating unlicensed spectrum together with cellular. That's something that I think Qualcomm does the best. Looking at these combinations, and the Galaxy devices, they allow you to set up your phone using Wi-Fi and cellular in a combined aggregate, which is incredible. But really, I'd like to see some of this make its way to home internet, fixed wireless access gateways, and I think that would be huge too. All right, so here's kind of like the millimeter wave technologies that are going to be in place. Again, I'll do another deep dive into those technologies. I kind of wanted to just address the T-Mobile potential and what they're doing with their midband because they have multiple midband assets. Verizon, on the other hand, just the 3.7 gigahertz. AT&T, a combination of 3.7 and 3.45, and T-Mobile with the 3.7 and 3.45. So this modem is going to be great. It's going to enable a lot of phones to do some incredible things very quickly. The first phone probably going to be the Samsung Galaxy S23. We can expect it probably, well, at least an announcement from Qualcomm in the winter, Q4 later this year, and then the devices like the Samsung Galaxy S23 and that family of devices will, and the rest of the year devices, they'll have this particular Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. All those devices will have this modem, the X70 modem. And then T-Mobile will likely be able to start turning some features on. The only thing we have to make sure that we start to see is T-Mobile starts to build their network, upgrading their tower sites with these spectrum assets. They need new radios, they need new antennas for these frequencies. All right, the 3.45, the 3.7 needs a new radio antenna integration. So they got to climb these towers again after doing N41 probably, and then they'll have that entire ability to do all those frequencies. Because if you think about it, we're seeing speeds on T-Mobile already starting to decrease a bit in some markets because the capacity need is there. They are taking a large market share. This is going to be an important technology for them. Being able to widen channels, combine channels, and aggregate all this together to just create this incredible capacitive experience. And then for people in these urban markets where T-Mobile's starting to kind of do this, right, put all the spectrum to work, they're going to be the ones that are going to be benefiting from this. So if you are a T-Mobile customer, this is a huge reason to be excited. Also, if you're a Samsung Galaxy fan, you're probably very excited about this. If you're a general technology type nerd and geek and you get excited about these things, this is huge, very amazing feature that's coming to market. And even if you're a Verizon, an AT&T, or a Dish customer, whatever, this is coming to your devices too. AT&T is going to be able to do this. Verizon, because they only have N77, but they've got a huge swath of it, they can do multi-channel aggregation with it, especially in areas where they have 200 megahertz, 180 megahertz of C-band. They'll be able to do, multi-channel aggregation. And then they're looking to start combining that with millimeter wave, which is going to be even more incredible in terms of capacity potential. But this is huge. This device is going to be massive. It's going to have a lot of great tech, and it'll be another reason to maybe consider switching to T-Mobile to get on this cutting edge technology and getting all this assets finally put to use through the T-Mobile and Sprint merger, plus all these spectrum auctions. If you have an older device, you don't have a 5G phone, now would be the perfect time to consider upgrading. When these new devices come out with these new modems, they're going to be doing the most. Not to say that the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13 or the Samsung Galaxy S21 or S22 are bad devices. They're clearly very good phones. But these types of abilities, you're seeing the evolution of modem technologies moving into the 5G era. Am I saying you have to upgrade your phone every year? Absolutely not. Every 2 years may probably be in order here because look at what's happening from year to year. the upgrades, the evolution of the technology is happening very quickly. To really take, the T-Mobile network to the next level, you have to be in an upgraded phone. So upgrading every 2 years makes total sense. Upgrading every 3 years, you're probably going to be playing from behind in what these devices can do. These devices are expensive. I understand not being able to upgrade every year, but just kind of put this on the radar. If you have an S20 or an S21, the S23 seems like an enormous upgrade from a cellular technology standpoint. Comment down below you guys' thoughts on this. Let me know what your excitement level is on this announcement, or kind of what can do this. A really good article from Sasha, kind of looking at these things, these elements. Very exciting times. Let me know what you think about this article and all of its different details. Love to hear what you have to say. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more, and turn on the bell notifications to never miss an upload. And check out all the things going on with the community, my Patreon page, my Twitter, and email in the description box. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next video.